long-ass weekend already over. Here we are now on a Monday. Yeah.
December Monday, too.
I know, right? We're going to hook you up with a list of things to look forward to in the month of December.
Yay.
Going to have a visit from Second Floor Sarah, talk about what's happening in our area this week. Recap our Thanksgiving holiday weekends. Cyber Monday, you going to be...
I am.
Cyber Mondaying?
Yeah, I am. There's a few things that I think that I can get on deal today. I've heard.
I figured you'd be
some
all about
online
some
purchase. Yeah, some online stuff.
Lots of other stuff to get to, of course, if you want to get in touch with us, rockmornings.com. Going to be cold, 28 for a high today.
Dude, what the heck happened?
I don't know. It got cold. It's winter.
Well, I know, but usually, it's like, oh my gosh, is this how it's just going to, I guess it's just going to be like this now. It's going to be in the 20s now with lows in the teens, and that's the way it's, we got our tree yesterday, and it felt like it was real feel of 5 degrees.
Yeah.
It's like, what is happening?
The nice thing, I guess, if you want to, take anything away from the weather, it looks like it might be in the 40s on Sunday.
Warming up, I saw, right? Upper
and there's
30s
no real,
sure.
Obviously you look out your window if you live in La Crosse, there's some flurries, but there's no reports of big snow coming our way anytime in the next week or so.
Not like Erie, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I've
Holy
seen. Or Buffalo.
Smuckers.
Did you watch the game last night?
I saw. Oh.
Yeah, crazy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling thankful for that, but it is dumb cold already.
So, yeah, I guess if you want to look on the bright side of things, then that would be it, that there's no major snow headed our way anytime soon. We'll get to some music from Puddle of Mud, and again, if you want to get in touch with us, rockmornings.com.
More of your Rock Mornings coming up in just a bit.
Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. Wintry start to your morning in La Crosse with a few flurries. Very cold. Only getting into 28 today. Looks like right around 29 tomorrow. 35 on Wednesday, and then into the 40s looks like on Sunday.
Yeah, warming up midweek or later in the week.
Well, it's going to be cold on Thursday with a high of 19, so it's not going to be
not yet.
Staying there. Thanksgiving was good. I ate way too much food. Definitely pounded a bunch of mac and cheese and stuffing. Had a little bit of turkey, deviled eggs, all that stuff. Apparently, smoked deviled eggs didn't go over well.
Too smoky?
Too smoky, apparently.
Okay.
For some of the people in my family gathering, so we'll be going back to the regular-ass deviled eggs for Christmas. We did get up and go out on Black Friday. It was the first time I'd done that in years. I don't even remember the last time and we didn't go out to, do a ton of Christmas shopping or get any doorbusters or any of that crap. We just, I've told you this many, many times. We get up and we go out and we get, batteries and
whatever
laundry,
you can save money
laundry
on,
detergent, anything that might be on sale that we're going to use at our house for ourselves. That was kind of what we did. So we ran all over the place on Saturday morning, picked up some stuff here and there, got a few, small little Christmas presents for a few, people. It's a little bit early for some of that, but and then we got our tree. Got it up in the garage and let it open up on Saturday. And then yesterday, we got it in the house and got it all decorated and all that stuff.
Nice.
Finished all of our Christmas decorations. Wife put all the ones out in the house over the weekend. So, yeah. And had some food, had some drinks, relaxed, slept in. It was, pretty good weekend. Had a funny situation at JCPenney at the mall. Mm-hmm. Wife wanted to get some clothes for work or something, so we stopped there on Black Friday. And as we're checking out, the lady scans all the stuff, is folding it, putting it in the bag, register rings it all up, and she goes to put the card in, the card reader. And apparently she pulled her card out too soon. You got to wait, until it says, please remove card.
Yep.
Well, when she took the card out too fast or too early, the machine froze up. And the lady had to, completely shut it off and reboot it. And, of course, there's people at all the registers. We have to wait for... It took, 15... I kid you not. 15 minutes for this thing to completely reboot. And we're just standing there. And, people are waiting to check
what the
out.
Hell is
and
going
I'm
on out there?
And then we're those people, right? The people that are causing the issue. Uh-huh. And I'm like, this is not where I want to be right now at all. So, no, not fun. But whatever. My poor wife. I was like, you're a disaster. I'm like, what are you doing? You had a lot of people at your house, look like.
Yeah, we did. We had a very nice meal. We eat later in the day, so it was like 6 o'clock.
We're at noon.
Most people are, I think, but ours is later in the day, so that was nice. And let's see, Black Friday went out with the girls and got some savings done for sure. $5 jammy pants and all that stuff. Some lunch out, and it wasn't too bad. I mean, there was a lot of people out, but it wasn't like annoying. We were able to get some lunch and enjoy the day, and then went down to the Rotary Lights Parade. It was chilly, but it was cute and beautiful as it always is, with Santa flipping the lights down at Riverside
I heard they had
Park.
some issues.
I wasn't close enough to see the issues. They came
apparently apparently they were, what I heard, we were going to go down, so we stopped at a bar and had some drinks, and then when the parade was going by, we went out and watched it, and then we went back in the bar to warm up.
Yes,
and we were hanging with a coworker and decided to just stay there and go down to the lights at a different point. But from what I heard, they apparently got Santa in the park and were flipping the lights on, and it's a big to-do. And I guess it didn't work the first couple times, 6, 7 times, and then finally they just kind of popped on, and everybody was happy and fine. But I guess they had a couple of issues there.
Yeah, I wasn't down to. I was staying inside watching it at that point, but it was a few minutes delayed, so that makes sense. But they turned on, and it was lovely, and so Rotary Lights, and then we got a tree yesterday at a tree farm.
Yeah, we picked ours up on Black Friday. Like I said, we got it in the garage, left it there over the weekend, put water in the base, and then yesterday we brought it in the house and got it all decorated and got the rest of the crap out. Looks like our house has vomited Christmas all over the place. So
the puppy's first time getting a Christmas tree. Junie, so she's a year now. It's coming on a year when we got her, but we had her off the leash because we walked quite a ways in the woods yesterday at this tree farm. So we took them both off the leashes, and she was running around like a like a puppy at a tree farm and having such a good time. They got in the van after we got
zonked out
completely. I don't think we drove out of the tree farm, and she was it was great.
Well, good. I'm glad that everything went well for you over the holiday weekend. So far, so good with us. No major malfunctions. We're having some issues with some of our Christmas lights. So, you know the things you buy at Menards that look like they're from Rudolph? You know, the Rudolph special?
Yeah.
They got Rudolph. They got the Bumble.
Oh, I know. Yes.
Yukon Cornelius.
Like wires with the lights on
so
shapes?
they're not blow-ups, the inflatables. They have a metal skeleton and then like a furry body, and then they have lights on the inside. And we've had ours, most of them we've had for a few years. You know, and I'm pretty meticulous with this stuff. Obviously, I have quite a bit of OCD, so I put them up, I disassemble them, I put them back in the box. I mean, like I take as good a care
of them.
as good as you can, I guess. When it comes to decorations. But this year, for some reason, both our Bumble and our Hermie, which is the misfit toy that wants to be a dentist, both of them, their lights have not been working. So the Bumble, I couldn't figure it out, so I just cut all the lights off of it, and then I bought a string of lights and I strung them up. But Hermie, I thought I had fixed them. I brought them inside and I was tinkering with them, and the lights came back on, and then when I put them back outside, the lights decided not to work again. So now,
back to square one.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll get her figured out. Puddle of Mud in a couple of minutes. Some sports coming up as well. Right now, it's All My Life.
Rock Mornings. On air, online, on the app.
Puddle of Mud with Blurry on Rock Mornings. Brian and Gene. Hell of a weekend if you're into football.
You think?
There was football every day. Every day. Packers, of course, beat the Dolphins on Thanksgiving 30-17. They improved to 9-3 on the season. And there's no rest for the wicked as they are at Detroit this Thursday to kick off Week 14 in the NFL.
That's a huge game.
Pivotal, huge matchup in the NFC North. The Bears lost to Detroit on Thanksgiving.
And then their coach
23-20. And then after the piss-poor clock management at the end of that game, they fired their head coach, Matt Eberflus.
Yep.
Thomas Brown, who was recently named Chicago's interim offensive coordinator, will assume their interim head coaching duties as the team gears up for their next matchup with the 49ers. Vikings, what a crazy game yesterday. They rallied from 13 points down. They couldn't do anything. It was a field goal game there for a while, but they rallied from 13 points down, beat the Arizona Cardinals 23-22 yesterday for their fifth straight win. Vikings, by the way, now 9-2 on this, or 10-2 on the season. So yeah, it's a
battle.
It's packed.
Yep.
Full at the top of the NFC North. Bills beat the 49ers in the snow last night, 35-10. They clinched their 5th straight AFC East title. The Chiefs, also who won earlier this weekend, they became the first team in the NFL to secure a playoff spot with their 19-17 win over the Vegas Raiders on Friday in that Black Friday game. Mm-hmm. Jags quarterback Trevor Lawrence took a very scary hit to the head. He did the whole
I hate that.
Yeah, the hand thing while he was sliding. The thing about it was that he was actually sliding. You know, they like giving yourself up, and 6-yard scramble by the Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair leveled the boom on him and knocked his ass out. Trevor Lawrence was down for several minutes before being carted off the field. Diagnosed with a concussion. He posted on social media last night saying he's home and, quote, feeling better. But a very scary hit in that game between the Jags and the Texans, which, of course, ended up with a bunch of players getting into it, shoving and pushing and all that stuff. Week 13 in the NFL wraps up tonight with the Cleveland Browns at the Denver Broncos. That'll be at 7:15 on ESPN. Badger football team waxed by Minnesota on Friday, 24-7.
They sure were.
In the battle for the Axe, they're a no-show. You got to fire everybody. I don't care what Grant Bills says. Get rid of Fickle. He sucks. They can't do anything. They stink.
That should have been
horrible.
A way better game. That should have been a way better game.
It wasn't competitive at all.
No, it should.
I mean, it just was a joke.
No, it should have
Badgers
been way better.
Finished the season at 5-7. They lost 5 straight games to end the regular season. Their 5-game losing streak is the team's first 5-game losing streak since 1991. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Brutal. However, at least on the hard court, the men's basketball team undefeated. They beat Chicago State on Saturday, 74-53. Up next, they'll welcome in unranked Michigan. That'll be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on Peacock.
Okay.
And the Bucks over the Wizards on Saturday, 124-114. They're 6th in a row. Off tonight. They're at Detroit tomorrow night at 6 p.m.
Yeah, they kind of turned things around.
Now did they. Yeah, they did. They were a hot mess there at the beginning of the season, but now they're over 500 and things are looking good. Giannis.
Streak.
Yeah. Giannis looks like an MVP candidate now, and Bucks are definitely on the right side of the column there. Lots of footballing. Does your husband even care about the Bears?
Well,
I mean, like, with their season being such a disaster.
Yesterday, I was telling the kids that, the coach got fired. They're like, why? And he's like, ugh.
Yeah. Well,
I think he's used to it. I mean, he's kind of
the
disappointment's real. They've
been bad for a while.
It hasn't been a thing since he was young, where the Bears were.
Let him know that we're commiserating because the Patriots blew it.
Can't be any worse.
Well, they took the lead over the Colts yesterday with like 2 minutes left. The Colts got the ball, 19-play drive down the field, scored, and instead of kicking the extra point to tie it up and go to overtime, they went for 2, and they got it and beat the Patriots. The Pats got the ball back with like 12 seconds left. They completed a couple of passes and got to about the 50-yard line, about midfield. They sent the kicker out for a 68-yard field goal attempt, and he missed it by like a foot. Like, he was close. It would have been, if he had just had a little more leg in it, they would have won. But it was, so it's been, the misery continues.
So they had the fans, they shoveled out that stadium, didn't they?
Oh, my God. Did you see? And it's coming down. It's blizzard conditions.
Oh, my gosh. It was just.
And it's coming down, and they do the same thing that the Packers do.
They pay them, and they get.
Yeah, where the fans come in and they shovel out the stadium, but. I mean, you're talking 2 feet of snow sometimes on some of these seats. I don't know if you see. Did you see it? It was crazy.
I did. I did. That was.
It was wild.
Those, the National Guard, those people are, digging out is going to be, it's going to take them a little bit of time, but they really wanted to play some football.
Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get to some AC/DC here in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Cyber Monday, so good for me. Cyber Monday, all of the deals are online to see. Oh, Cyber Monday, they will guarantee.
Cyber Monday. Get online. Spend your money. Go into debt. Take out loans. Let's do it. I don't have any plans to do any Cyber Monday purchasing.
I'm going to do some. There's some cosmetics that the girls want that, are like 80% off today.
Smart.
So that's a purchase that makes sense for me.
Yeah. It's also National Mutt Day. M-U-T-T.
I got one.
Pictures of your mutt all over the internets. Monday Night Football on ESPN tonight. Denver Broncos hosting the Cleveland Browns. The Voice on NBC. The live semifinal performances. On the C-Dub tonight, it's the series finale of Superman and Lois. Meanwhile, on Fox, the mid-season finale of 911 Lone Star. ABC has the Celebrity Wheel of Fortune tonight with Chance the Rapper.
As they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
Dionne Warwick and Lil Jon on the Celebrity Wheel of Fortune on ABC.
That sounds like a lineup.
Yeah, also on ABC after the Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, Press Your Luck's Holiday Extravaganza 3. No whammies. No whammies, and stop. Also on television tonight, the 1 hour special, TMZ's Merry Elfin Christmas on Fox. And on Disney Plus today, the series premiere of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. The kids in the spaceship running into Jude Law.
Oh, that was the other thing I did this weekend. We went to see Wicked.
And?
It was good. I mean, here's my thing. A bunch of the people we were with, there was 6 of us, have seen the musical. On
stage.
Correct.
Okay.
I had no frame of reference because I had never seen it.
But Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I mean,
they made a musical about the witches. You
obviously.
Get the gist of it.
And I'd heard popularity before the song, but as far as being a big fan of it, like some people are, because they,
the people who sing along.
Yeah. I didn't have that frame of reference. From that, the settings, the staging, the costumes, the choreography, it was beautiful and really well done, and super talented people, obviously, in those roles. So,
didn't go to the movies this weekend, but we did watch Christmas Vacation, Black Christmas, the one from the 70s, the original. Mm-hmm. A couple of other holiday ones in there. Also on television tonight, on late night TV, Jimmy Fallon. Speaking of Broadway musicals, he's got Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes.
And Shailene Woodley
Hamilton.
as his guests. Yep. Kimmel's got Jamie Lee Curtis and Ava Max. Daniel Craig's going to be on with Stephen Colbert. Everything else is in repeats. Also, I don't know if you heard, but so there's a band called Knock Loose. They're kind of a hardcore band, and they performed on Kimmel last week with Poppy.
Oh, yeah. I knew they were going to, but I didn't know it happened.
And the internet reacted swiftly. People who watch Kimmel, who are lightweights, right, and don't understand heavy metal music, were very unhappy about that. Well, guess who's going to be on Kimmel this Wednesday?
Them again?
Body Count. Yeah. So if you thought Knock Loose and Poppy were something to see, wait till Ice-T and Body Count get on stage. Of course, they're not going to do Cop Killer or There Goes the Neighborhood.
But
still. What is this? Honey.
What is this?
I did not moisturize my feet before getting into bed to watch this on my television. Yeah. People are going to be pissed about some Body Count. Funny. I'm not staying up that late. I'll watch it the following day on highlights or whatever. But yeah. Coming up a bit later on, we'll give you a list of things to look forward to in the month of December. Our friend Second Floor Sarah is going to stop by. We'll see if she got that deer over the Thanksgiving holiday.
She was trying again.
Going to give us an update on what's happening in our area this week. And in just a few minutes.
What?
The annual list of what it'll cost to buy all of the things from the 12 Days of Christmas. We'll get to that after the 12 Pains of Christmas.
Rock Mornings, only on 95.7 The Rock.
Ah, yes, the Bob Rivers classic, 12 Pains of Christmas. Rigging up the lights! I had a bit of that myself this year. New lights, a lot of new lights. I got a very nice complimentary text from my neighbor Sue talking about my lights. But again, having issues with some of our Rudolph statues or whatever the hell you want to call them that are not lighting up properly.
Ours don't work, and I'm getting zero motivation from my husband to give a crap about that on the outside of the house.
That's why you got to do it in November. I'm telling you.
3 days. I'm like, hey, are you going to hook the... He's like, yeah, they don't work. And I'm like, should I run to the store and get some more? He's like, I don't know if they're going to get up.
Like 3 weeks ago when it was, remember, it was a Monday, Tuesday, it was in the mid-50s, and it was still mild, and then we looked ahead, and it was going to be in the 30s. I said, this is it, Banya. This is the lunch, because I knew it was coming, and I was like, I'm not going to be up on a ladder when it's freezing cold. And so I got most of them done. There was a few things that were still, kind of hanging around. But, as a person who has been outside trying to tinker with some of that stuff over the last few days, I'm glad I got it done when it was warm. I know it's stupid and whatever, and people, get crap a lot of times. People online will give you crap for putting up your Christmas lights too damn early. And it's like, look, dude, I don't want to be out there when it's 12 below.
I don't care about that at all. I'm just
Have you ever tried to, unfurl Christmas lights when they're frozen?
We have limited, our situation is we have such limited power. Basically, we have to run everything off of
one outlet.
It's not even an outlet. It's all, we put an outlet in where the light is.
Oh, yeah.
And we got to run everything off of that.
Bad idea.
So it's a pain.
Not a lot of power going through that.
But I know that, but I really think he is fine if nothing goes up this year except this. And I was like, okay, I've resigned myself to that.
Gotta put one thing up, right?
Well, I've got some stuff on the porch, but some out, but. I was driving to work this morning, and our whole
Everybody
it's dark.
is...
No, it's dark, and I'm
so
like, we
right
gotta do something here. We look, our block looks terrible.
I only have one house that I compete with, and it's the Griswolds, and it's not even I have no chance. I mean, I'd really have to go after it, but I don't want to ruin it for him. He's got 2 young kids, and that's his thing, and they let us have Halloween, so it's an unwritten agreement. There's an NDA or whatever you want to call it.
Be better.
He's got the Christmas, we got the Halloween. We both agree on that. It's an unspoken thing.
I gotta get some lights today. I gotta beg to get something up. It looks so bad.
PNC Bank releasing their annual report on how much it would cost to buy all of the gifts from the 12 days of Christmas. They've been doing this for over 40 years, by the way. This is not something new. 40 years PNC Bank has been tracking the prices of this stuff, and once again, it's an all-time high. Go figure.
I'm sure of it.
Wait till the tariffs. Wait till next year with all the tariffs.
I'm sure.
You think it's expensive now.
So what?
Everything on the list, 12 days of Christmas, everything in total would run you $49,263 this year, up about 5% from last year. 3 of the gifts represent more than $35,000.
Is it the Maids of Milking or the Lords of Leaping? Or
Lords, yeah, the Lords. Here's how much everything would cost this year. 12 drummers drumming, $4,017 to hire them.
Okay.
11 pipers piping, $3,700, $3,715. Lords of Leaping, as you mentioned, very expensive. 10 Lords of Leaping, $15,580. They base that on how much it would cost to hire professional ballet dancers. I don't know where the Lord part comes in, but my grandparents called me Lord Brian Simpson. That was when you would official mail, you know what I mean? I'd get a letter.
So can you leap?
I can't leap. I mean, I could jump, I guess. 9 ladies dancing, $8,557. I feel like you could get that for cheaper.
Yeah, you could.
I know some girls that'll dance for a lot less than that. 8 maids of milking. This one is sad. Milkmaids, ladies out on the farm.
Is this cheap?
Women who pump their breast milk, whatever you want to call it. $58. That's it for 8 maids of milking.
58.
The cheapest item on the list, by the way. If you ever felt great about being a woman, here's a little stat to take you down a peg. Right?
Yeah, the Lords of Leaping.
Go women, right? Yeah, women breaking the glass
maids
ceiling.
Of milking, $58.
Except you're the cheapest thing on the list. If you hired them for an hour at minimum wage, $58. 7 swans of swimming. Second most expensive gift on the list. It's $13,125. Can't you just go to the park and steal swans? Didn't they have a bunch of swans down in Brownsville recently that everybody was looking at?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they migrate, but that's not.
6 geese a laying would cost you about $900. 5 gold rings, $1,245.
Okay.
4 calling birds, $600. 3 French hens, $347. 2 turtle doves at $750, and a partridge in a pear tree, $370. By the way, if you do the math, if you were to buy things over and over and over again for every time the song repeats, it would be $209,000 and $209,272.
All right,
that'd be your grand total. But yeah,
so up again this year is the bottom line. Is
PNC Bank, 40 years of doing it, except for the maids of milking. Women, you gotta figure it out, ladies. You gotta do something.
$58. That thing, $58. I got 50. That buys me the milk and.
You know, with that and the 3 French hens, I could probably make it happen.
Little farmette.
Yeah, be all right. But there you go. The annual list from PNC Bank about how much all the things from the 12 Days of Christmas song would cost. We'll get to some Guns N' Roses in just a few minutes.
Rock mornings, Monday to Friday, 6 to 9.
Guns and Roses, Sweet Child of Mine. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. When you think of Alaska, what do you think? Like, what's the first thing that pops in your mind?
Cold, dark, mountains, parks, bears, moosages.
All relatively good answers. What about how sparse
Bugs.
it is?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Less
wilderness.
popular. Yes.
Right?
I just saw a TikTok the other day of a grocery store and the prices there because
in
it's
Alaska
so,
because it's so far away from everything.
It's so isolated. It's like, oof, you thought our prices were bad. It was rough, but it was a brand new grocery store. It's beautiful, but it was just their supply chain is, it's hard. It's challenging.
A woman in Alaska named Esther.
Mushers.
Mushers.
Do I keep going?
Okay. No, you're good. We got all the. We're good. Her name is Esther Sanderlin, and she helped make sure that her neighbors in remote areas would have a very happy Thanksgiving by airdropping frozen turkeys as she flew by in her plane. The 3rd year that she's done this. So you live up there. You might know the people, but you don't see them very often because you live so far away. And she apparently was talking to a neighbor, and they didn't really have a lot of plans for Thanksgiving because, as you mentioned, food is very expensive, and they don't have a chance to get to the grocery store very often. So they were just going to apparently split a squirrel.
During the freeze-up, you can't really get around. You can't travel out there, but you can fly. One weekend, and I was visiting our newest neighbor, and they were talking about splitting a squirrel 3 ways for dinner and how that didn't really go very far. And I just had a thought at that moment, you know what? I'm gonna drop them a turkey for Thanksgiving. My vision with this is to reach farther parts of Alaska because there are so many families that live rural and they're all frozen. So some people are like, does this hurt the turkey? Is it like tenderized? Or, they're all frozen. They literally just bounce off the ground.
Everything's frozen, and she probably flies low enough so it's not like from, outer space.
Getting killed by you'd die if you got hit in the head.
Esther Sanderlin in Alaska airdropping frozen turkeys to her neighbors said, we had a neighbor who would airdrop turkeys to my family and to other families in the neighborhood. That was just such a huge impact on my life and others in the community.
That's nice.
Hopes to turn this into a mission, into a nonprofit so she can reach more and more people around Alaska. But she's been doing this now for 3 years, just flying a bunch of frozen turkeys in her plane. Airdrops about 30 to 40 turkeys, all in an effort to make sure that no one is forgotten, not even those living off the out in the boonies, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's got a big Facebook page too. If you want to look it up, it's actually pretty funny. Alaska Turkey Bomb. If you give that a search,
I don't know if their squirrels are significantly bigger than ours, but 3 people splitting a squirrel.
Maybe they had
lot.
more than one squirrel. My guess is they eat what they can get their hands on.
No, of course they do. I understand that.
What I mean?
I understand that.
But again, if you want to give it a look, she's got a logo and everything. It's great. It's Alaska Turkey Bomb on Facebook. Very funny. And if you want to know what a real man looks like, this might be the most perfect description of a man. You ready for this?
I think so.
John Reichert, 74 years old. Loves Christmas, but there's something that he loves even more.
What? His wife?
His wife of 53 years, Joan. Diagnosed with Alzheimer's 4 years ago.
Oh, man.
And since then, this Marine veteran has made it its mission to keep making her memories. This is like 51st dates, right? As she starts to lose her ability to remember things. Reichert said, if it wasn't for my wife, I don't know if I would have done it. But she wanted Christmas, so I gave it to her. I'd do anything to make her happy. This guy, 74-year-old retired Marine vet in Iowa named John Reichert, decorated every house on his block with Christmas lights. Not just his. Every house on the block. Does it for his wife, who loves Christmas and was diagnosed with Alzheimer's 4 years ago, says he'd do anything to make her happy.
This is his labor of love. I said, are you crazy? But he did it. I think the whole neighborhood is just feels very blessed to have him in this neighborhood.
If it wasn't for my wife, I don't know if I would have done it. but she wanted a Christmas, so I'll give it to her. I'll do anything to make her happy.
I didn't know what to think, but I'm glad he did it. I love him.
And to think that he's done all this work just to make her happy. That's what Christmas and love is.
Told you. Definition of a real man.
And love.
Bunch of people, by the way, of course, had to help out, pitching in. Not just, allowing him to come to their house and put the lights up. We're talking about stuff in the front yard. We're talking about lights on the house, all that stuff. Neighbors also returning the favor by setting up a P.O. box where he can send Christmas cards to his wife for him to read to her.
Yes, please.
John Reichert, Reichart, care of Frank Ewers, EWURS, P.O. Box 133, Indianola, Iowa, 50125. You can Google this guy if you want. His name is John Reichert.
Okay.
And he's a Marine veteran in Iowa who decorated the entire block for his wife, who has Alzheimer's.
And loves Christmas.
Yeah, pretty cool. But there's, again, a address there if you want to send some Christmas cards. I'm sure that he'd be delighted to get them in the mail. And there you go. Definition of a real man.
So awesome.
Bit of snow this morning in La Crosse, dusting on things. Obviously, slow down, get where you're going safely, be very precautious. Could be slippery in some spots. Obviously, people not paying attention when it starts to snow.
Yeah, flurries on the surface in Eau Claire, too. Some minor accumulations. Not going to be very much, but some flurries across the area as well. Just be careful.
We'll get to some Green Day and 3 Days Grace in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Got a text from Rob. Said, my friends looked at me weird when I left with some batteries and jeans from getting stuff that's practical, not the big deals you see on TV. Yeah, there's really not big deals on Black Friday anymore. And there's really no doorbusters either. That was the thing back in the day, was that you had to get there right when they opened because they had special items on sale only for the first hour, yada, yada. But most stores don't even do that. They just have a sale. A lot of stuff's on sale a week or two in advance on their website. Like I said, much like Rob, we just went out and got batteries and laundry detergent and crap like that.
There were a couple stores that we went to that had things on sale until noon, for instance. They weren't necessarily... I think the thing before that was so dangerous about Black Friday is we've got televisions for $5 and we have 8 of them.
Right.
And that's the the problem, right? They would not.
Well, even the videos though, people fighting were they had a pallet full of the $2 toasters and people were fighting over these things. There's a pallet of them. There's plenty, dude.
But they don't do that anymore, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I do my wife actually said to me over the weekend, she's like, I kind of miss seeing those videos. I said, well, thankfully the old ones are on the internet so we can go back and revisit them, but probably not getting any new content anytime soon when it comes to Black Friday fighting. Chris in Alabama wants to hear some Tool. Said thanks from Chris in Alabama. Back in Alabama. He was in Wisconsin the last couple of weeks, but back in Alabama. I'm sure he's very happy about that in terms of weather. Also got a text from Sherry who said holiday mailed turkey drop. WKRP in Alaska, not in Cincinnati. Yeah, Scott is my witness. I thought they could fly.
These are frozen. They can't fly.
Wow. I think everything is frozen up there, okay? Everything. Did you hear? They said when the freeze happens, that means the whole state is frozen.
When she said that, I was like,
yeah.
You
want to live somewhere where we've got 2 seasons, the freeze and not the freeze. That's it. Then you got Barrow, where they got the 40 Days of Darkness and the vampires, and no thanks.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
When the freeze happens.
When the freeze happens. Oof. It takes a special kind of person to live up there. No, thank you. We've got a coworker who has an issue where he wakes up with a song in his head every day. Mm-hmm. I will occasionally get something stuck in my head, and I don't know where it comes from.
I don't have that. I mean... once in a while, I'm like, I'd like to hear that song. It's been a while, but I'm not singing melodies in my head.
Well, there's apparently a new piece of audio online that'll help you forget an earworm. That's what they call them, an earworm, when it gets into your head and you can't stop kind of replaying it in your head over and over and over again. But there is now a 40-second audio track called the Earworm Eraser. And they say that listening to it can supposedly get songs unstuck from your head. It's constantly changing tempos, time signatures, and musical styles, so it won't just become another earworm. to replace the one that you've got.
It's just like a grab bag of sounds.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to play it here in a second. Earworm Eraser is on YouTube. A lot of people in the comments section say that it worked for them, although some say it didn't. But if you can't get Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas out of your head,
I couldn't tell right now.
Maybe give it a listen. Earworm Eraser. Here it is. Listen. So
that's a lot of sounds.
Yeah, and as it mentioned in the story, it does change tempos and styles and all that stuff. So Earworm Eraser on YouTube, if you're trying to find that, give it a Google.
Messes with your brain a little bit.
An associate professor of music psychology at Durham University in the UK said one really effective way of blocking out earworms is to listen to something else.
Yep, sure.
But if the replacement tune is equally memorable, it might just be Next Man Up.
Mm-hmm.
So the Earworm Eraser avoids the feature that typically makes songs catchy. The professor of music psychology said, quote, I've shown in my research that songs that have a more danceable tempo tend to become earworms. And we also have found that having a predictable overall melodic shape can make a song become an earworm. So Earworm Eraser, developed by scientists apparently to help chase those things out of your head. This time of year it's easy because a lot of those songs on repeats.
Yeah, we were listening to Christmas tunes on the way to the Christmas tree farm yesterday. I was like, okay, here we go. 'Tis the season.
Just got a message from John who said Kohl's at 5 a.m. on Black Friday parking lot was packed. It was my first and last time Black Friday shopping. Pointless in 2024. No deals worth getting up that early for.
Oh, I didn't get. We went and it was fun because it's something we always do together. But we went at 10 a.m.
I liked it because we were done by like 11.
Yeah, you
know
guys
what I mean, and we had the rest of the day to do whatever the hell we wanted. And so, yeah, again, not a lot of deals necessarily to get up for, other than what was on sale. And they had, I will say, we went at the Menards. And of course, they put all of the, on the end caps there, that first aisle as you're going down past the plumbing and electrical and all that stuff. So all of the like batteries and the blankets and the pajamas and all so they're in that first aisle. So we took a left and went back towards where like the Christmas stuff is and the pet supplies, and then we kind of looped around and came the wrong way down that aisle, and people were not happy with me.
Yeah, I'm sure. There must have been good deals because I spoke to a bunch of people who went to Farm and Fleet and Menards and that's where they started their shopping in the morning was Farm and Fleet and Menards.
We got sports coming up in just a few minutes. Also some 3 Days Grace. Right now it's Green Day.
Rock Mornings on 95.7 The Rock.
Michigan will defeat Ohio State for the fourth consecutive time and denies the Buckeyes a Big Ten title game shot. Something interesting is going on the field right now. Michigan tried to plant their flag in the middle of the Ohio State field, and the Buckeyes rushed right to them. And now there's some skirmishes going on the field. An unsportsmanlike gesture by the Wolverines. Unnecessary. They've won the game. No need to be disrespectful. Someone probably just needs to grab that flag, or else this is going to continue to get nasty. Ugly scene for a beautiful rivalry.
So ugly that people were getting pepper sprayed.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this.
I did not.
This was not an isolated incident either. This happened all over college football this weekend. And number one, you're not going to stop it. Number two, I don't know. There's, I don't know. There's part of me that's like, is this even necessary? And then there's part of me that's like, I don't know, it's good for I grew up in the Red Sox-Yankees era, you know what I mean? When they were beating each other up, and the Celtics and the 76ers back in the day, the famous photo of Bird and Dr. J, and back in the 80s when basketball players would fight, you know what I mean? Like on the court, and then they'd get a $1,000 fine and there wouldn't be a suspension. So I just, the problem here is that you see things in a different perspective as you get older, obviously, but then there's escalation, right? Like, Bill Laimbeer and Kevin McHale would fist fight, and then that would be it. You know what I mean? That would be the end of it.
So this was involved crowd?
No, these are players.
This
is
just
Michigan.
This is just players.
Yeah, Michigan and Ohio State over the, and it's rivalry weekend, all that stuff, and they promote it as that, and that's part of the other issue.
The hype game?
Right. There's a lot of hype behind that, right? When you go and you show those highlight clips of years gone by and the decades and decades of games between these two organizations, it's the fights, it's the knockouts, it's all that stuff, right? And so, yeah, you get these players hyped up and you get them on a certain level. And after they win the game and it's a big thing and, you either eliminate a team or you get yourself to a position, it makes a big deal for them. And that's what happened between Michigan and Ohio State. Brawl breaking out as some of the Wolverines players planting their flag at midfield in the Horseshoe following their big 13-10 upset over the second-ranked Buckeyes. Police eventually using pepper spray to try to, get this thing under control. The scuffle lasted about 5 minutes. Players and coaches from both sides left bloodied. Ohio State University police said one officer was injured. The Ohio State head coach, Ryan Day, said, "I don't know all the details of it, but I know these guys are looking to put a flag on our field, and our guys weren't going to let that happen. I'll find out exactly what happened, but this is our field, and certainly we're embarrassed on the fact that we lost the game, but there's some prideful guys in this team that weren't going to just let that happen." Well, the Big Ten came down hard on both teams. $100,000 fine for each of the two teams in their organizations. Yeah, the $100,000 fine came down yesterday for the football program's role in that post-game melee featuring, of course, the Wolverines' 13-10 upset of the number 2 Buckeyes. And I get it. It's an upset, right? You're happy, you're crazy, and but then you get fans on the field, then you get the police involved,
a brawl that you can't get control of.
Well, and the cops are trying to form a line, like a human chain almost in between the two sides. But there's just people everywhere, right? And you got a little fire over here, and you got a little fire over here, and you're trying to put all, and it's just crazy. Well, that was not the only one over the weekend. Florida and Florida State also had a little meltdown. Florida State head coach Billy Napier issuing an apology, vowed consequences after his players celebrated their road win over Florida State on Saturday night by planting a Gators flag at the Seminoles logo at midfield. Maybe we just sort of say this is not the way we should do things in college football, right? It's because it's becoming popular and the players are seeing other players do it, right? This is why.
Just go play the game. If you win, you win. Don't put your flag on their field. Is that
a melee between the two teams ensuing after Florida edge rusher George Gums Jr. ran to the logo, planted the flag following Florida's 31-11 win. Obviously, what happened there at the end of the game is not who we want to be as a program, said Napier. It's embarrassing to me. It's a distraction from a really well-played football game. I want to apologize on behalf of the entire organization. Just in terms of how we represented the university there, we shouldn't have done that. We won't do that moving forward, and there will be consequences for all involved. So good on him. It sounds like he's going to penalize the players. See, this is the problem, too, is that the Big Ten comes down on the organizations, the schools, but
why don't they care? It's 100,000.
But the players don't care. The school doesn't care. It's 100.
Care, but
I don't think they care. What does it matter to you if you Coach yells at you and you're still out there to play the next week or in the playoffs or in the it happened during the Arizona State game as well, North Carolina. So it's just
it was popular this weekend, huh?
Yeah,
it was the go-to move.
That is the go-to move, apparently, is the flag planting. Yeah, there was a Baker Mayfield jersey involved and all sorts, Kyrie Irving did that to the Celtics, stomping on the logo after he left Boston. I mean, there's numerous instances of these types of things happening throughout all different sports. The problem is when you start having players being violent towards each other and fights and pepper spray and people getting hurt. It's
that's bad. That's real bad.
Well, and again,
police involved and they can't stop the line and somebody's.
Let's put it in another perspective where fans are storming the field and the players are still out there. We just saw that with that game that had a second left on the clock and and it's like, we'll see what the NCAA does about this. I'm guessing they're probably going to be sending out some memos. Lincoln Park in just a bit. Also going to let you know about some stuff that's coming up in the month of December.
Because it is December.
Yeah, the second. Things to look forward to in the month of December. We'll get to that in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
It rocks, but it doesn't rock too hard. The singers all seem to be saying, hey, it's going to be okay. perfect sitting down dancing music.
Also known as yacht rock.
Steely Dan.
The Doobie Brothers. Toto.
Kenny Loggins.
Christopher Cross. Michael McDonald.
I expected to be totally forgotten by the end of the 80s.
The term yacht rock emerged from a comedy show.
All of a sudden, this new genre we made up started to get embraced by the world.
Yacht rock. I always thought it was kind of flattering to be made fun of.
I began to see that it was a kind of backwards way to honor us.
Obviously, it made an impression on somebody.
The Yacht Rock documentary premiering over the weekend. Did you see any of it?
No, I didn't even hear about it.
What?
I didn't.
Oh.
Well, I was kind of off the...
Yeah, you were in Germany.
Yeah, it was...
Well, there's and it's titled Documentary, D-O-C-K, as opposed to D-O-C.
Clever.
But, yeah, artists like Christopher Cross and Michael McDonald and all these other guys and gals from the, I don't know, maybe late 80s, early 90s, kind of a soft rock.
70s, too. I think, yeah, fits into that, whatever you would call that category.
Well, one person who did not want to have anything to do with being a part of a yacht rock documentary was one of the members of Steely Dan. The producer... One of the producers of the documentary series called him on the phone, and this clip was included in the documentary series about yacht rock.
Hello, Mr. Fagan.
Yeah, this is he.
Yeah, hi, this is Garrett. I'm the one making this yacht rock documentary. Yeah, so I've been talking to a lot of people that have played with you and Steely Dan over the years, and I was wondering if you'd sit down with me and talk about your music and this genre.
And what genre is that?
Yacht rock.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, I tell you what. Why don't you go yourself?
He hung up on me.
Yeah, he doesn't want to...
Doesn't...
Steely Dan, sure, he looks at his music as being far superior to put a label like that on it.
Obviously, Donald Fagen does not want to be associated with yacht rock.
Yeah.
Which is sad, because I think when you give it that terminology, people... understand it right away. And I get where, as an artist, you don't want to be in a box, but at the same time, it feels like the people that are talking about yacht rock are the people that like it. You know what I mean? And can and probably already,
he's got no time
purchase your music and consume it and all that
Steely
stuff.
Dan. I don't need that.
The guy, by the way, who produced the the docuseries, Garrett Price, says that apparently Fagen's manager immediately called him back and granted permission to use 6 of Steely Dan songs in the documentary. Price, the director, says, I think it's a wink. It's like, I get it. I understand how important this name, Yacht Rock, is to our music, but I'm going to let you know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
It's him being him.
Is this Netflix?
I think it's on HBO Max.
Okay.
Actually. Yeah. But the Yacht Rock documentary, apparently Donald Fagen of Steely Dan.
Not a fan.
I think he's like the only surviving original member. And so he's not too happy about the whole thing.
Prolific and smart artist, so I'm sure he's...
And none of that changes because people give you a genre or put you in a category.
They said, go ahead, use the music, and we understand what you're doing here, but he cannot like the title of it.
Well, it's
not
like,
want to deal with it.
dad rock. Mm-hmm. Just some sort of made-up genre of bands like Nickelback and, Three Doors Down. And, and I don't know, you can either wear it with a badge of pride and say, that's cool. Dad's like what we do, and I appreciate that. Or you could be like, no, man, we're Nickelback, and we're too cool to be dad rock. That's just dumb. As we mentioned today, of course, December 2nd, we'll get to a list of things to look forward to in the month of December in a couple of minutes. It's also the last day to eat your leftovers, so if you got any, today's the day.
I brought leftovers for lunch, as a matter of fact.
4 days since Thanksgiving, so today is the last day, according to the USDA. These are official people. To eat your leftovers. They say that because it sits out longer on Thanksgiving in open spaces as opposed to being refrigerated right away, that it tends to spoil faster.
Okay.
So today would be the last day. USDA says that turkey, stuffing, potatoes, sweet potatoes, green beans, gravy, and pumpkin pie can be safely stored in the fridge for 3 to 4 days, but after that it might make you sick. If you don't want to waste food, most leftovers can last for months in the freezer, so get them in there ASAP or eat them up today.
We have very little left.
Yeah.
And I brought it for lunch.
Homemade cranberry sauce apparently will last a few weeks.
A long time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a week to 10 days. Canned stuff can last up to 2 weeks in the fridge. So,
sure.
But today is the last day to really savor those leftovers. Yeah, we had some turkey and some stuffing and mashed potatoes and did that last night for dinner. But it's all gone now, thankfully. A list of things to look forward to in the month of December is coming up right after Black Sabbath.
Rock Mornings on your rock station.
December has begun. We're a little late on this one, but
Sure has. Yesterday.
So things to look forward to in the month of December, starting with the movies. This Friday, Y2K, rated R. High schoolers making the decision to crash the last major celebration before the new millennium on New Year's Eve, 1999, and then all hell breaks loose.
All right.
Y2K. Next Friday, the 13th, you got Kraven the Hunter, rated R. This is part of the Spider-Man universe, Kraven the Hunter. Kraven's relationship with his ruthless father starts him down a path of vengeance with brutal consequences. MCU. Also next Friday, Lord of the Rings. War of Rizzuto.
There's a new Lord of the Rings?
Animated.
Ah.
Rated PG-13. Yeah. Helm Hammerhand, the king of Rohan, and his people have to make a daring last stand in the ancient stronghold of Hornburg. The War of Rohirrim, I think. I don't remember these stupid names. Sorry.
Got it.
That's out next Friday along with the Kraven the Hunter film. On the 20th, big one, Mufasa, the Lion King, rated PG.
Yeah.
Mufasa, a cub lost and alone, meets a sympathetic lion named Taka, the heir to the royal bloodline. Their chance meeting sets in motion an expansive journey of a group of misfits searching for their destiny. Also on the 20th, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, rated PG. Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails reunite against a powerful new adversary. On the 25th, Christmas, A Complete Unknown. This one's rated R. This is the Bob Dylan movie.
Oh,
Timothy
really?
Chalamet plays Bob Dylan. No?
Well, I know our friend will be going to this one.
Newport Folk Festival, 1965. A young Bob Dylan shakes up his act on the folk music scene by going electric and defining one of the most transformative moments of the 20th century in music. So, yeah, if you like Bob Dylan, then this one is probably for you. Apparently, he learned how to play and all that stuff, did all the things. Timothy Chalamet. I'm going to skip it. Not a thing for me. Also on Christmas Day, Nosferatu, rated R, gothic tale of obsession between a haunted young woman and a terrifying vampire. This is a remake of a remake of a remake of a remake. So,
okay.
In terms of television shows in the month of December, you got a whole bunch of them. A lot of Christmas ones. But December 3rd, which is tomorrow.
What's up?
Girls Gone Wild, The Untold Story on Peacock.
It was so shocking.
It blew my mind what Joe Francis was able to convince these young girls to do.
Joe Francis was everywhere.
He's hanging out with famous people. And the first 2 years, Girls Gone Wild made $20 million.
Girls were already pulling their tops off and flashing the jet as we were pulling in.
I never thought that would come back and haunt me.
Yeah, right.
Whoa, yeah.
Girls Gone Wild, The Untold Story on Peacock tomorrow. Also tomorrow, Hard Knocks in season with the AFC North. This will be on HBO, so it's all four of the teams in the AFC North. Wednesday, Star Wars, Skeleton Crew. I think it actually premieres today. I may have got the date wrong on that one, but new Star Wars on Disney Plus, Skeleton Crew, Jude Law, bunch of misfits, Jedis.
Yeah, we'll see.
Outer space.
We were just having the discussion about whether we were going to cancel Disney, and he's like, "Oh, but the thing in the Star Wars." I mean, that's really the reason we have it anymore is for the Star Wars release.
Season 12 of The Great Christmas Light Fight is on ABC on the 5th. On the 9th, Monday night, football is the Simpsons Fun Day Football on Disney Plus. We talked about that. Sort of like what they did with Toy Story last season.
I remember that.
They're doing it with the Simpsons this year. December 10th, Lego Masters Celebrity Holiday Bricktacular. Season 3 of that on Fox. Also on the 10th, Richard Ramirez, The Night Stalker tapes on Peacock. So if you can't get enough serial killer stuff. December 12th, the Billboard Music Awards on Fox and Paramount Plus. Dexter Original Sin on Showtime, a prequel series about Dexter. That'll be that premieres on the 15th. On the 17th, Aaron Rodgers, Enigma.
You done messed up, Aaron.
That'll be
Like
on
a
Netflix.
show?
Yeah, a series about him being weird.
Okay.
The following night, Wednesday, December 18th, SNL's Christmas special on NBC.
Oh, there's no beating my balls.
No beating his balls, sweaty balls.
Those video clips are being fed to me
They're
everywhere.
Also on TV in the month of December, What If Season 3 on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Marvel Cinematic Universe. Also, I just saw the previews for this. Christmas Day, Chiefsaholic, a wolf in sheep's clothing.
That guy?
Yeah, they quickly put one together. It's on Prime on Christmas
He's
Day.
a bank robber.
Yeah, and he's going to jail for a long, long time. But they made a series about him on TV. It'll be on Prime on Christmas Day. Squid Game Season 2 premieres on Netflix on the 26th. And then, of course, Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest on New Year's Eve on ABC. Over in the world of sports, in the month of December, you've got the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship Tournament beginning on the 5th, runs through the 22nd. Starting this Friday on Rumble. I don't even know what Rumble is. It's like a fighting pay-per-view service type thing, streaming service. Power Slap 10.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face.
What? And this is the competition where they slap each other, yeah. UFC 310 on pay-per-view on Saturday night. Also on Saturday night, the Big Ten championship game between Penn State and Oregon. There's a whole bunch of college football, obviously. This is kind of neat. Saturday the 14th, Saturday night's main event on NBC and Peacock. WWE bringing back Saturday night's main event in the Nassau Coliseum where it premiered like 40 years ago in 1984.
So doing a retro kind of feel to the whole thing?
Maybe.
Like
I know they're bringing back Jimmy, the Mouth of the South Heart, who was here in studio not too long ago. Jesse Ventura is going to be a part of it somehow. So, yeah, we'll see.
Maybe.
The Heisman Trophy ceremony will be on ESPN on the 14th, and the college football games also begin on December 14th with the Celebration Bowl at 11 a.m. on ABC. Holidays, big ones. Here we go. You ready for these?
Kind of.
I'm just going to highlight a few. Today, obviously, National Mutt Day. Tomorrow is Giving Tuesday.
Yep.
Cabernet Franc Day. Franc is on the 4th. Franc. So wine. Krampus Day. Krampusnacht is on the 5th. That'll be on Thursday. National Pearl Harbor Day of Remembrance will be on Saturday the 7th.
A date which will live in infamy.
Brownie Day on the 8th. National Brownie Day. You like brownies? Ken Cooper, talking to you, buddy. Christmas Card Day on the 9th. National Lager Day on Tuesday the 10th.
I drank beer with my friends. I liked beer. I still like beer.
Likes lager beer. National Ice Cream Day is on December 13th.
Ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream.
National Ice Cream Day is in December?
Yeah, December 13th.
That's weird.
We were at a brewery on Saturday, and we saw a kid eating an ice cream from the Pearl.
Oh, no, I'm just...
People eat ice cream all year long.
I'm sure.
December 15th, it is National Regifting Day.
You know, those things make great gifts. I just got one of those for Tim Watley for Christmas. Yeah, who sent you that one?
One Tim Watley.
No, my Tim Watley?
The same. He sent it as a thank you for my Super Bowl tickets.
I think this is the same one I gave him. He recycled this gift. He's a regifter.
He is a regifter. National Regifting Day is on December 15th. December 18th, it's Answer the Phone Like Buddy the Elf.
Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? Put that down. Hello? Hello?
Answer the telephone like Buddy the Elf Day on December 18th. The 20th is Sangria Day. Winter, of course, starts on the 21st.
We getting mad because it's snowing, but it's winter outside. I mean, we are a bunch of weird people, okay? If it was summer and it was snowing, yes, it is winter. It's winter. Hello?
What?
It's winter.
It's winter.
Yeah, it's winter now. I don't think we wait.
On the
It's
21st.
cold. It's
The official.
snowing and cold.
Yeah. December 21st is also Short Girl Appreciation Day.
I got one of those.
You got a couple of those.
Mm-hmm.
National Cookie Exchange Day on the 22nd. On the 23rd, it is Festivus.
When George was growing up, his father hated all the commercial and religious aspects of Christmas, so he made up his own holiday.
Oh, smile and another piece of the puzzle falls into place.
All right. And instead of a tree, didn't your father put up an aluminum pole?
Oh, Jerry, stop it.
And then weren't there feats of strength that always ended up with you crying?
I'm going to work. You happy now?
Festivus on the 23rd. Christmas on the 25th. Boxing Day and Kwanzaa on the 26th. National Call a Friend Day on the 28th. National Bacon Day on the 30th.
Nothing burps better than bacon.
Hell yeah. And, of course, New Year's Eve, December 31st.
Merry New Year.
Mm-hmm.
Happy New Year. In this country, we say Happy New Year.
And there you go. Some stuff to look forward to in the month of December. We'll get to some music from Incubus. And Second Floor Sarah is going to join us to talk about what's happening in our area this week in just a bit.
More of your rock mornings coming up in just a bit.
Incubus, pardon me, on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We just mentioned him because there's going to be a new special about him on Netflix later this month called Enigma.
Oh, it's his birthday today?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is 41 today.
You done messed up, A.A. Ron.
Jets losing it. Jets gonna Jets. Losing again.
Enigma.
If you want to watch some douche talk about himself for a half hour or whatever
This is a program for you.
This is for you. I'm good. I'm all good with that. Britney is older than Aaron Rodgers. Britney Spears. There's only one Britney, right?
It's Britney, bitch.
I think there is only one, yeah.
She did pretty well for herself there. You only need to say one name, like Madonna, Cher. Nelly Furtado is 46. She's like a bird. Monica Seles, Tennis Hall of Famer, 51.
Okay.
Tretch from Naughty by Nature. He's 54. Saw him at Miller Park with Vanilla Ice.
For three songs?
Like two seasons ago. Yeah, it was like 2 songs. It was like right after the game. It was all right. It was fun. Whatever. We had a good time. Lucy Liu, the actress, she's 56. Nate Mendel of the Foo Fighters, their bass player, 56 as well. And Rick Savage of Def Leppard, their bass player, 64.
When you're near.
1951. December 2nd, 1951. The Packers retired their first number. You know who it was?
No.
Don Hudson, number 14.
Oh, I would not have guessed that.
Don Hudson's number 14 retired by the Packers, their first ever number retired.
Go, Pack, go.
42 years ago today, 1982. It's crazy. It feels like this would have happened before that. But only 42 years ago today, a surgical team at the University of Utah Medical Center performed the very first artificial heart implant. The guy was a 61-year-old Dr. Barney Clark, the patient, lived for 112 days with his new fake heart.
Listen to your heart.
Didn't get a whole lot of extra time.
No.
Like 3 months. Wrap up some affairs. Fill out my will.
Yep. Get
sell the house. Yeah. Bucket list. I don't know. But yeah, 42 years ago today, the first ever surgical heart implant occurred in Utah, of all places. And 1988, December 2nd, The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad in theaters. Leslie Nielsen, Lieutenant Frank Drebin. I vividly remember watching these movies with my father and him laughing. That was like the only time that I ever saw him laugh.
Laughing.
That and Police Academy movies. That was it. He laughed so hard during these movies. And there you go. Some stuff that happened on December 2nd, along with some birthdays. Our good friend Second Floor Sarah is going to regale us with stories of lost dogs and things to do in our area this week. We'll talk to her in just a couple of minutes, and we'll hear from Dirty Honey. So stick around.
Rock Mornings. On air, online, on the app.
Spirited conversations. Always fun.
Uh-huh.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Couple of flakes still flailing around out there. Obviously, it has dusted the area, so please be careful on your way to work or wherever you're going. I think that's about it for today, though. 28 and some clouds, maybe some sun this afternoon. Looks like tomorrow, a high of 29, and then 35 on Wednesday, but dipping down into the teens on Thursday. We might see the 40s again on Sunday. if you want to hold your breath for that one.
Warming up a little bit midweek, but yeah, it's a wintry start to December, that's for sure.
Second floor Sarah here in the studio to talk to us about what's happening in our area this week. But before we get to that,
you had a traumatic weekend.
What was the temperature on what day was it? Wednesday. Wednesday when your dog ran away. Tell us the whole story because you have to set the scene. You have to paint a picture here. How old is your dog?
This is like therapy. Okay, my dog is.
Can I just say to you, first and foremost, I have had several dogs in my life over the last umpteen years. All of them run away, and it's very traumatic every time. It doesn't matter when or how old or where it at. I mean, like, we had a boxer, and it looked like a deer the way it was prancing around through the neighborhood. And I could see it, and I'm like, you son of a bitch. And then another time she took off, and she ended up crossing over West Ave, like a major thoroughway in town. Ended up in someone's front yard, and they called. I mean, it's always a traumatic experience. So,
but this is just a puppy. Tell us about your puppy.
He's a 17-week-old English Springer Spaniel. So he's
hunting
small.
dog. Yep.
He's brown, so he blends in well. You cannot see him. Took him up to my husband's parents' house. Very rustic woods, all the things.
Hunting land.
Yep, hunting land. And he took off, and he was gone for 4 or 5 hours.
So now you guys have had him for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And you let him off the leash thinking he's fine at home. He'll be fine. He'll hang out with us.
Nope. Yep.
And that's not the case.
No.
If you had asked me before you made this decision, I would have said, don't even think about it. That is a bad idea because as soon as the dog gets off, it's going to go.
So what happened? So it's in the woods?
He ran into the woods, and
we're talking acres of land here.
Like 400 acres.
Okay, massive, like a preserve almost.
Yeah, not small. So he ran off, and we're yelling for him, and we're walking in the woods. We're trying not to scare him even
while you're
worse.
Also trying to go out and get ready to set up for hunting.
Yeah, that wasn't the main priority.
Okay. But that was the purpose of the day, right? Was to go out there and get ready to go hunting and all that stuff. So now your plans have shifted to, oh no, we got to find the dog.
Yeah, and mind you, the day before Thanksgiving. So how sad would Thanksgiving have been? But anyway, we're walking around in the woods. My parents are calling, asking if they should come help. I'm like, I don't know what you're going to do. They come anyway. My mom was extremely helpful. I know she listens to this. Thank you, Mom.
Mom for the win.
Yes.
What up, Mom?
So darkness, cold, missing dog, big woods.
Lots of terrible things are happening.
Tears, crying.
Early in the day, at least?
No, dark.
5 o'clock.
Oh, snap. So pitch black outside.
Yes. We're using flashlights, trying not to scare him. A couple hours goes by, we get in touch with a gentleman with a thermal drone, which is normally what they use to find injured deer.
You just find that on Craigslist? You just like, hey...
You gotta know a guy.
Okay.
Some dude put it on Facebook and stuff. But
That's good.
It's nice to know people. They find him with a thermal drone, which...
Were you guys close to him at all? Like, man, if we had just gone 10 feet to the left?
It's hard to say because he doesn't make any noise, so it's like... He could have been over there at the time, but maybe he was in a different area at that time. It was hard to say. But it was really funny. So when the guy found him with a thermal drone, obviously then we have to figure out how we're going to catch him.
Right.
Because he's scared out of his mind.
And he's a puppy, so he's got that puppy energy.
Yes. And he's shaking. Like, I can visually see him, like, shaking, and he's trying to figure out, because he's in this brush patch, like, how he's going to get out of here. And then we end up, he comes out of it, and then he's like going around these silo bins. This used to be an old farm, so it's like, okay, that's concrete. Like, I can't see him. It's dark. It's small. I actually had to like lay down on my stomach to get him to come to me. But yeah, thermal drone that saved the day.
Yeah,
thanks
Ryan.
Thermal drone guy.
Thanks, Ryan.
Well, I'm glad all's well that ends well. Did you learn your lesson? Oh, never let the dog off the leash.
Yeah, not for a little bit.
Yeah,
probably.
Maybe proper training. Maybe some,
Yeah, traumatic nonetheless. But
well, I'm glad it ended up working out and you could enjoy your Thanksgiving dinner. Did you end up getting a buck?
No, I didn't.
You stink at hunting.
I didn't.
I would have gone out. I would have shot 10 deer by now.
I didn't see a deer.
Jeez.
I heard a lot of our neighbors took out a bunch of the herd, so it's kind of a bummer.
That's the blame. That's the blame pie right there.
I did not see my target buck the whole time. Mm-hmm. He's gone.
Well,
nocturnal.
he'll have another year to
that is true if he makes it through muzzleloader season.
All right.
But
Well, second floor, Sarah, I'm glad your dog is back with you guys and all's well that ends well. Let's get to what's happening in our area this week. What's going on in the La Crosse area this week?
Yeah, first Friday, downtown art walk. If you're into art and different things like that, you can go to River City Gallery. They've got new art every month there to check out. That's from 4 to 7. There's always drinks and snacks there, I believe.
You buried the lead. Buried the lead on the drinks and snacks.
Yeah,
That's all right. That's all right.
Well, go check out some live music then at Grounded. If you like, they have really good happy hour deals there. I hadn't realized.
And a big-ass Christmas tree, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do buy one, get one on drinks there a lot of the time for happy hour, so it's a pretty good deal.
I think the kids call it BOGO.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know how
you're calling it saving money and yeah.
But that live music is free. And then Friday night comedy at the Main. So
yeah, the Main going to be closing their doors at the end of the year. Sad news that we found out about 2 weeks ago, and unfortunately they won't be doing anything after the 1st of January, but they do have comedy coming up for the next few weeks and some live shows. I know Cheech has got a big CD release party coming up in December 21st, I think it is. So yeah, so they've got stuff, including comedy on Friday night at the Main. You can go to their website, themainlacrosse.com, if you want to find out more and buy tickets. And where can people go if they want to find out about more events happening in the area?
You can head to AroundRiverCity.com.
AroundRiverCity.com. Thank you, Sarah. Second floor, Sarah in the studio.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day. We'll get to the friggin' sports after the Offspring.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Offspring come out and play. Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. In case you missed it, AC/DC, big announcement. They're going on tour in 2025, starting in April. The first date is actually in Minneapolis.
It is.
And then they're going to swing back through and hit Chicago as well in May.
Yeah, they've got their 50 years as a band, limited edition vinyl. They've got everything out. Basically, everything's done. They've got the first 9 albums coming out in March. Those will have some artwork that goes along with it. A 50th,
reissues, yep.
Yeah. And then they're going to have all sorts of stuff. In addition to their vinyl, they're going to do T-shirts and hoodies, long-sleeve tees, album packages, mugs, and more. They're also going to go on the road, and the first date for that kickoff tour for the United States is at the U.S. Bank, April 10th in Minneapolis. Tickets not on sale yet, but soon.
Check out their socials and website for more info, but AC/DC heading back out on the road. Who are they going with again?
Pretty Reckless.
That's cool. I thought I saw a picture of them with Taylor Momsen over the weekend. So cool. If you were to fight someone,
okay,
like a fight, like a fist, where do you think it would hurt the most to get punched or hit?
I don't want to do that. I don't want to get hit, and I don't want to hit somebody.
Head, face, breast, ribs, stomach. Kicked on the leg, the shin. You ever seen those? The kicks, the welts they get? Where do you think it would hurt the most?
Am I fighting a guy? Can I hit him in the junk?
No, I'm talking about you personally.
Me.
As a woman, as a female.
I don't know. I really don't think I'd like to get a black eye or a broken nose. I think that would hurt a lot, maybe. Also, I broke a rib once, so if somebody got me in that area,
the length of time it takes to come back from that, like the nose and eye and all that, would probably recover a lot faster.
That really, really hurt when I cracked that rib, and to have that re-cracked would be painful, I think.
What about your anus?
Being hit in my anus?
Not a usual spot.
I'm not feeling
for MMA fighters to get elbows. But I saw the shot and it wasn't good.
Like up in it?
So, you're rolling around on the ground and you get into these positions where certain parts of your body get exposed. And this woman was rolled up essentially, kind of like, I don't know, like she was in a ball almost. And her butt was exposed in a way that her legs were spread, so there was access. And this other woman came down on her with an elbow, like right in her anus. Not on the butt cheek,
I was just gonna say,
like dead center. I
don't think it would be
dead center. I'm talking dead center. You see it in the clip.
Spread and then the thing, and it's out, and she's
yes. UFC strawweight Luana Pinheiro is still recovering from her last fight, which took place earlier this month, or last month, I should say, November. Aside from the normal bumps and bruises associated with getting into the octagon, she suffered what can really only be referred to as a very unique injury. The Brazilian lost her fight at UFC Vegas 100 back on November 9th against Jillian Robertson by unanimous decision. Limped out of the octagon. She caught several 12-6 elbows, which have up until recently been illegal in the UFC, and they were right on her butt, including one on her anus.
Happy birthday, huge anus. I've heard you're a massive fan.
The quote-unquote disrespectful shots, as Pinheiro refers to them, took place at the end of the first round, with one of them taking place after the bell, quite possibly the devastating blow to the anus. 31-year-olds
devastating
with a limp, still weeks later having trouble sitting down, not happy about it.
No way, really?
She said in a recent interview, quote, "I definitely felt it there, excuse my language, but she elbowed my anus. To me, that's disrespectful. I'd never do that to another athlete. She's a woman fighting there, you know? I'm there because she's there. We're chasing the same dream." Got her right in the anus.
What's up, man? Did NASA find oil on your anus, man?
She still can't sit down?
When you see the clip, you'll know exactly the hit that I'm talking about. Yeah, so she's got her rolled up, and she's trading the 12-6 elbows to these ones straight down, right? But the clock is 12-6. And so, bam, bam, hits her on the cheek, you know, and it's about striking, right? You're getting points by how many strikes you get. And she ends up, you know, because it's so wide open, she just gets right. Dead center, man. Popped her right. Yeah. If you want to give her a Google, her name is Luana, Luana Pinheiro, Pinheiro. And
you can watch that if the highlights of that
you
reel.
Can see it. You won't miss it. Tell you that much. You can get one of them big knots that are growing like another person out of your forehead from getting punched up there too much. Or you can take a shot to the anus like this lady did.
Yeah.
I didn't really see intent either when I was watching the clip. I mean, it looks more like she's just throwing down blows, and she maybe moved, you know, and just one slid the wrong way.
I'm not going to watch that, probably.
All right. The latest from Breaking Benjamin and Bad News, Happy Music coming up next.
Rock Mornings, only on 95.7 The Rock.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril.
Now that's just nasty.
Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man. Florida Man. Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
Australia.
Okay, it's already going to be good.
You know all the animals in Australia are trying to kill you, right?
I do know that.
Yeah. Well, this is no different. A venomous tiger snake was apparently crawling up a woman's leg while she was driving about 50 miles an hour on the highway.
No way.
Crikey.
Yeah. Victoria police carrying out one of the, quote, more bizarre welfare checks after a deadly tiger snake slithered up a driver's leg as she was traveling on a major freeway.
Highly venomous. They definitely don't want to muck around with them. Get the life out of her, and she managed to pull the car over. They were pretty panicked as well, so they're not a fan of snakes either. Considering the circumstances, extremely lucky.
Yo, dude.
Woman told police she'd been driving on the freeway when she felt something on her foot and looked down to find a snake slithering up her leg. Later identified as a tiger snake, one of the world's most venomous snakes, had curled up under the steering wheel of the car. Police said that the remarkably, the woman was able to fend off the snake and weave through traffic before pulling over and leaping out of the car to safety. Paramedics called to make sure that the woman, police said, was in a state of shock, was not bitten, thankfully.
Oh, my gosh.
Didn't find any puncture wounds or other signs on the woman that she had been bitten. Taken to the hospital in stable condition. They called a snake wrangler, guy named Tim, from the Melbourne Snake Control to wrangle the snake safely and get it out of the car. Passing motorists left in bewilderment as the massive snake was safely removed from the vehicle. Said he gets about 6 to 12 requests a year to remove snakes from cars, but this was the first time he had been called to a freeway. Most of the time, it's just somebody gets in their car and they see the snake or whatever, and then they get out and they come to the driveway. But this guy, first time ever out there on the highway, taking the snake out of the car.
I have had it with these snakes on this plane.
I don't know what I do. I just panic.
Yeah.
I just panic.
You want to talk about panic? You're on a roller coaster.
I saw this.
You're at the top. It's just about to go hell's bells. You know, up to the top. And then you get to the top, and there's that second or two where it just sort of pauses, and then, whee, all the fun happens. Not for this guy. The lap bar released.
Yeah.
And he had like 1 second to figure out what the hell he was going to do.
I know.
Because this thing's going at all sorts of speeds. And the lap bar is not going to hold you in because it's released.
Yes.
So you got to either hope that
you're doing upsy downsies and over and under.
Dude yeeted. He yeeted out of the roller coaster. He yeeted.
He did.
Jumped out.
It was just adrenaline, and I didn't want to die that day. I heard a click noise that was different from the chain taking us up the hill. And I checked my lap bar, and it released. It could have been one of the 11-year-olds. Could have been somebody older, not as agile, right?
Yeah.
He yeeted. He heard that. He yeeted. He was
somehow
out, and then
he was able to get on the.
He hung on to the.
Well, he was able to get on that little ramp, you know, because a lot of them they have the little walkway and the ramp, so you can go up there and tend to them if something happens. But yeah, this guy in Phoenix said he climbed out of a moving roller coaster after the safety bar became unlatched.
I saw it.
He wanted to remain anonymous, by the way, sharing a cell phone video of him jumping out. Was there celebrating his niece's birthday at Castles and Coasters in Phoenix when the terrifying incident occurred.
Yeah, he heard the click and he knew he was no longer belted in for safety, and he was about to go down, real down, fast down.
He was on a coaster called Desert Storm, a double looping roller coaster when the lap bar became unlatched just seconds before the ride started.
He knows he's going to go like this.
Yeah, he knows.
Down.
Oh yeah. Well aware. He says, we start to climb, you hear the click of the chain of the normal roller coaster. We just get about to the top, and I hear a click different from the one on the chain. So I checked my lap bar one last time, and it had released. Said he thinks his decision to climb out of the roller coaster onto the catwalk possibly saved his life.
I don't know how else. I mean, unless you really, figured out a way to hang on. You know what I mean? Like somehow jam yourself in the seat to where
you put your feet out or you turn or something, or you hold on. Maybe you grab a person next to you and you hold on to them. Or he said the operator didn't notice what happened until he was on the ground. She should have been watching that car, and when she saw me climbing out, she should have been able to hit an emergency release. Should have been able to do something.
I agree with that. When I saw the video footage and they didn't stop the coaster, I was like, what the hell is happening here?
This is crazy. According to this article, Arizona does not regulate its amusement parks, according to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. State law requires parks to have private or insurance companies inspect rides annually. So they do have some kind of regulations. And granted, this may be a once-in-a-lifetime type thing, but still, you don't want to be the one guy that gets on the roller coaster and says, uh-oh, time to yeet.
No.
Yeah.
And he's right. It's lucky it wasn't a young person, really young person.
Oh,
you know,
a kid.
Like a kid, you'd never be able.
No.
You couldn't figure out how.
Kid
to
wouldn't have known. Wouldn't have even.
Well, and they wouldn't probably even be big enough physically to be able to jam themselves in there in any kind of way to stay. Ugh, would be horrifying.
Here's a guy in California that didn't do a good enough job trying to conceal his intent. Made it too obvious. Like when you stick out like a sore thumb at the airport, you're probably going to get called to the side for some extra special treatment.
Was he wearing a mask, carrying a black backpack, or what?
California man facing federal charges for allegedly trying to board a flight to Australia with 2 suitcases full of clothing caked in meth. Here's why he probably didn't do a good enough job covering up his intent. Checked a pink suitcase and a gray suitcase.
Okay,
setting off TSA officers, they flagged more than a dozen pieces of light-colored clothing. One of the items was a cow pajama onesie, along with other pieces of clothing that were in a suitcase. dried stiff and covered in white residue, which turned out to be meth. Total weight of the meth cake clothes was around 71.5 pounds. Officials extracted more than 2 pounds of meth from the clothes. The man was charged with possession and intent to distribute, faces 10 years to life in prison.
That's what you're doing with meth-soaked jammies.
71.5 pounds. Maybe less meth?
Well, 50 pounds is the max before you have to start paying extra for a suitcase.
Yeah. Maybe just keep it on the low. The next time you're checking your cow pajamas at the TSA. Just saying. Last but not least, if you think your Thanksgiving was bad, it's got nothing on this woman. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce her name correctly, but I'm going to try. Lachunda. Lachunda. Lachunda.
Okay. Lachunda.
I'm just phonetically sounding it out here. Lachunda Johnson is a 55-year-old grandmother in Memphis, Tennessee, and she was arrested after allegedly stabbing her daughter and her grandson on Thanksgiving. We stabbing everybody.
Up in here.
Memphis Police Department said it responded to an aggravated assault call on Thursday. Officers said the main victim had been arguing with her mother after she pushed the victim's son. So it sounds like grandma pushed the kid. Mom came in to the rescue.
Said, hey, why are you pushing
And then people
kid?
started getting stabbed. The victim said she looked away, and then Johnson charged her with a knife she had gotten from the kitchen. Officers say that Johnson then fled the scene. This is the grandmother. Was located later on down the road where she was taken into custody. Victim sustained an abrasion on her left hand. The suspect then stabbed her grandson in the left hand near his thumb. 3 juveniles at the scene when the stabbing occurred. All were uninjured. According to the victim, Johnson, Lachunda, was drinking and possibly heavily intoxicated at the time of the incident. Taken into custody without incident, charged with aggravated assault and domestic assault. No bond has been set yet.
Mom, you stabbed me.
Tried to, I think.
You tried to stab me.
Abrasion sounds more like the knife maybe raked across her arm or her hand.
On Thanksgiving. Like you went after me with a knife, Mom.
So grandma got drunk, didn't like what she was hearing out of that little kid's mouth, shoved him. Mom came in and started arguing with grandma. Mm-hmm. Grandma said, not in my house.
Right.
Grabbed the knife and started stabbing everybody.
I don't got time for this.
I got to make all of this Thanksgiving food.
Yeah, I'm busy.
And you're up in here. You're up in here bothering me.
Yeah.
Interrupting my drinking time.
Yeah. My husband got more than abrasion from a cutting knife this weekend on Thanksgiving Day, cutting through the ham and the bird with a very, 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 very sharp knife that we only get out at holidays to cut
big
bit him,
pieces
huh?
The knife bit him?
Yeah. It bit him, and so much I thought we were going to have to go to the emergency room for stitches, but we didn't. We managed to pack it all up and bandage it all up, and I had guests that pass out at the sight of blood, so we're trying to get everybody out of the
I got to be around for one of those. I got to be honest, I'm going to cut myself at some point around her because I want to see it happen.
Just to see it happen?
I've never
she
seen
goes
her.
down. She crumples like a doll. It's so ridiculous.
I got to see it.
Most of the people knew that it was happening in the kitchen because it was like pretty there. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
And
it's eventful.
My son went to go get the band of the thing and whatever. She's like, what's going on in there? And everybody's like, no, don't come in here, because she would have bam, and then she hits her head on the floor when she passes out, and now we got a real problem.
I got myself the other day when I was messing around with Christmas lights. One of the glass ones had broke. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like pulling the lights through my hand to try to like straighten them out and like, untangle them and all that. And then the broken glass one coming right here, which is of course the worst, like one of the worst places on your hand to get cut because you can't like really wrap anything around it without putting on like a whole bandage on your hand. So yeah. All right. Bad news, happy music. On Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene, we'll get to our daily check-ins after Falling in Reverse.
Rock Mornings, Monday to Friday, 6 to 9. Call.
Hello.
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us. Check. We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Hit up the website for all of our contact info, rockmornings.com. You can register to win date nights or Workforce Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Sign up. Make sure you do.
Find us on social media as well. Check out the daily podcast. Listen to the show live. All right there at rockmornings.com. Got an email from Doug. Said, good morning. My youngest got into a car accident early evening Friday. Pickup blew a stop sign, T-boned her,
Ugh, so
totaled the car.
scary.
While spending the weekend in the hospital, I learned that she has become a Beartooth fan after seeing them at Rockfest. If you have time, play a song for August. Grateful for that. All is well now. Yeah. Saw the picture, Dougie. Glad to hear that your kid's okay and on the mend. Try to get to that Beartooth a bit later on. Got a text from Eric talking about the UFC fighter. Took an elbow to the anus.
Which is a new move, isn't it now?
He said that's the token gooch buster. The gooch is not the same as the anus. It's close, but it's not the same. And that was her words. She was talking about getting one right there in the...
Yeah, she was.
Vicky texted in, said, as for leftovers, we were talking about today being the last day, if you got those Thanksgiving. I don't even think you want them laying around in your kitchen. I mean, you got to start,
Well, I made more mashed potatoes on Saturday, I think, because
you ran out and you didn't have enough for the leftovers.
And we had gravy left and stuff. So I think, that's fine. The gravy's fine. Stuffing's fine. I don't know. They're talking about the turkey, I think.
Vicky says, as for leftovers, as a certified food safety handler,
okay,
you can recook your leftovers to 165 degrees to kill off any microbes, and it's good for another 5 to 7 days, pending on you having leftovers left. Yeah. Got a text from Rich, said, just to let you know, surgery went fine. His daughter, he had texted me maybe like 2 weeks ago. Mackenzie had gone in for surgery, a very important surgery, and apparently she's on the mend, and some good news.
That's good news.
Very good news. Text from Sherry said, WKRP and Alaska Holiday Mall turkey drop. I'm this old, hitting the ground like wet cement. We had the story about the woman in Alaska who was, for the third year in a row, dropping off frozen turkeys to her neighbors with her airplane.
Very generous to make sure that nobody went without on Thanksgiving Day.
Talking about Black Friday shopping, we both went out. My wife and I just, again, buying things that we need for the house more.
We
than...
had a plan of attack. We knew the stores we were going to go to and who had the best offers that day. So Rob
said, my friends look at me weirdly when I left with some batteries and jeans, as opposed to getting big deals.
I don't know. Jeans were where we went. They were 50% off. 50% off. That was big.
I got a new pair of Hey Dudes.
Were those on sale?
Sort of. They're always on sale.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of like some of the stores were like, hey.
It wasn't a Black Friday thing. It was just, the wife wanted a pair of boots and it was buy one, get one half off. And I was like, the pair that I bought last year, seen better days. Thank you for all the correspondence. Good to hear from you guys. Have a great rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.